Okay, we want to say welcome to Coach Drinkwitz and Coach Day. Thank you guys so much for coming on your last day of preparation to join us for this news conference. We will begin our news conference by asking our head coaches to make an opening statement about their week in North Texas, and then we will move on to questions from the floor. And again, we'll be here for approximately a half hour. Coach Drinkwitz will come to you first for an opening statement.
Yeah, I just want to say our appreciation for being included in the 88th Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. It's been an unbelievable event. It starts first with people, and the people of the Cotton Bowl Classic have been unbelievable as far as hosting and taking care of our needs, making sure that we have everything we need to, especially on Christmas, you know, around the holidays, for our families, our players to feel the warmth of the holidays here in Texas was really important, and very appreciative to them. You know, but now we're to the point where it's about the game. And our focus needs to increase on the game. It's a great opportunity to be in a New Year's Six, but it's really important to play well. To have 34 days off and play is a real challenge, and so our focus is to try to focus on the fundamentals, the things that are really going to matter: pre- and post-snap penalties, ball security, tackling. And so today in our Fast Friday, that's going to be an emphasis for us to try to make sure that we play a clean game. Obviously, we've got an incredibly talented opponent. You know, they have all the makings of a championship football team. Probably the most explosive team that we've played offensively, with the combination at running back, tight end, and wide receiver. Their offensive line does an incredible job of both protection and establishing lines of scrimmage. Defensively, their front six is as tough and as strong as anybody in the country. I don't think their back end has a whole lot of weaknesses. Their nickel player, I think, is a very talented player because of his ability to play both man and disguise coverage. And then obviously their special teams are elite. So tremendous challenge for our football team, but we're excited to play, and I know our guys are ready to compete at a high level. And so appreciative of the invitation to be here, and appreciative of all the opportunities that were afforded to us while we were here.
Thank you, Coach. Now, Coach Day.
Yeah, and I'll echo what Eli said about just how great everybody here at the Cotton Bowl has been. Was here in 2017, and you know, talked for a long time about the hospitality that you know, all the folks here you know, shared with our team, and it's been the same. It's been better. It's been better, and like Coach said, being here for Christmas is a different experience, but our guys have really enjoyed the week, but we've also had a great week of practice. Practice in a first-class facility like we're in right now. You know, made it easy and seamless. And again, a lot of people have a lot of pride in this bowl, and so it's an honor to be a part of. Practice has been good all week, and ramping up to the game. It started back in Columbus as we, you know, had our fundamental phase and then game plan phase, put that in, and then came here and went through a week of practice. You know, it's been exciting to see our team you know, rally around our quarterback, Devin Brown, who's going to be starting his first college game in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri here, who's a great team, very well coached, very talented, good in all three phases, play complementary football, and have a lot of momentum. So we know it's going to be a battle tomorrow night, and our guys are excited for that.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Let's go to questions from the floor. Remember, raise your hand, the microphone will come to you. And I think our first question will go on Coach's left here on the aisle.
Yeah, Andy Anders, 11 Warriors, is for Ryan Day. You've got a few guys in this game, Xavier Johnson, Matt Jones, and Josh Proctor, that have been with the program a really long time, have actually seen out their full collegiate eligibility with the team. Just for those guys, what's it been like to see them go through this process for their final game? And I guess what will the emotions be like afterward when, you know, they depart from the program?
Yeah, we're going to petition to see if we can get some guys from 8th years and see if that's possible between COVID and medical. And these guys have been in the program a long time, and each guy has their own story. And I think with a lot of the focus around, you know, the transfer portal and everything that's going on across college football, these guys embody what it means to be a student athlete. They're all going to have great NFL careers, but they've made an impact. They've left a legacy behind in their rooms. All of those guys have been leaders. They've come up and really developed within the program. and left something behind for the younger players. And that's the sign of somebody who, really takes a lot of pride in where they're at. All those guys have had opportunities to either go and declare early to go to the NFL or possibly transfer somewhere else, and they didn't. They know what it means to be a Buckeye, and they're going to be missed.
Josh Proctor specifically, just his story, battling back from season-ending injury, how last year went. Just what does his story, I guess, say to you, and what does it maybe say to other players for the future? Yeah,
resilience, perseverance. We have our senior tackle, and Josh got up in front of the team and shared some things that were private, but he just kept putting one foot in front of the other, and now you're seeing him play his best football. Always believed that Josh was one of the most talented guys coming out of high school, and now he's put it all together after going through a lot of adversity. Certainly the injuries were well documented, but he stuck with it, and he's resilient, and he's stronger for it. And not only is he going to have a great NFL career, but he's going to be a great husband someday, a great dad. I know he wants to play his best football and finish this thing the right way tomorrow night.
Let's go here on the right side, right here.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch. Question for both coaches. This is the first year for bowl games where you can use the helmet technology for communication. Was that something you guys will take advantage of? If so, if not, why or why not?
Yeah, we spoke about this, had a discussion about it, and I think we both agree. I don't want to speak for you, Eli, but that down the road it makes a lot of sense. But to try to, with everything going on right now, to try to manage a game without having done it all season, we felt like it was probably something we want to have a spring practice and a preseason to work through because of the unintended consequence for something new, a new variable. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I mean, December's got enough challenges for us to try to figure out how to communicate on the sideline, and get the communication in was just something that didn't make a lot of sense for us. And so, Coach Day and I have a good working relationship, and made a call and decided that made the most sense for us.
Go on the front row here on the left side.
Yeah, Bill Rubinowitz also from the Columbus Dispatch. For both of you, particularly Ryan, this is the last year of basically every game is a must-win. Next year you go to a 12-team playoff. Probably the pressure to win every single game will be a little bit lessened. I mean, obviously you have responsibility to win every game, but how different do you think it'll be next year, knowing that not every game is everything?
You want to start?
Yeah, I don't know what world you're living in, man. College football, every game is everything, and I don't think that's ever going to change. Everybody expects to win. The players expect to win. The fan bases expect to win, and the coaches expect to win. And so I don't think you'll sense anything really different. I think the margins, especially after what happened to a couple of teams not making the playoffs this year, I mean, yeah, there's going to be some teams that can get in with maybe 10 or 11 wins, but there's still going to be the which game did you lose and how did you perform and all that different stuff that are going to be variables. So I really don't think the pressure will change any, in my opinion.
Agreed. But I think the 4 teams that get a bye in the first week will be significant. Yeah. So I think that'll be important because of the length and number of games that are going to be coming. Certainly our focus is on finishing the season now, but when you do look ahead, I think it's going to be important to be playing your best football down the stretch. When you look at teams who make runs in the NFL playoffs, they'll go through stretches where they'll lose 2 or 3 in a row, but if they get hot down the stretch, then they end up winning the Super Bowl. And so I think the first thing is, it's going to be important to try to get that bye, but the second thing is you got to be playing your best football down the stretch, and I think, the healthier team will be critical.
Does it give you more leeway to maybe let a quarterback develop early in the year or kind of maybe experiment a little bit, knowing that, if you lose in week 2, it doesn't disqualify you?
I think it's an interesting question. I haven't quite thought of it like that yet. We'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But I do think more than ever, you're going to be wanting to build your team up as the season goes on.
Swing back to the right side.
Cameron Seager with The Athletic. Ryan, this question's for you. On Devin specifically, the year he's had from the injury in the spring where he couldn't play in the spring game, the competition, getting injured during the season, how has that year, the ups and downs, everything he's had to go through, prepare him for a moment like this and for potentially being quarterback in the future as well?
Yeah, I think Devin has always had his mind that he wants to get on the field. He's been competitive since the day he stepped on campus. I know he's looking forward to playing in this game. I think he's also seen big games. He's been around it. He's seen a couple different quarterbacks play ahead of him, so he knows what the preparation looks like. And he was right there with Kyle in the preseason. We talked about this before, and then got him in a little bit in the a couple of the games just to kind of get his feet wet, and then he got hurt in the Penn State game, and so we weren't able to get him in the game as much. But we were ready to put him in the game, a few times this season, and you saw him play a little bit. But now he gets an opportunity to play a whole game, and so I mean he's prepared at a high level, and the guys believe in him because of what he's done the last few weeks in practice.
Okay, on the front row, left.
Natalie Jones, ABC 17. Eli, I was talking to Brady and his parents before we came down here, and he said he remembered, 10 years ago watching this game on TV in St. Louis. What has he communicated to you as far as how much this is a full circle moment for him?
Yeah, I think Brady, obviously growing up in the state of Missouri, wanting to play for the university, battling through adversity throughout his year last year, now having an opportunity to lead a New Year's Six Bowl is exciting for him. You can tell the level of focus that him and Cody have displayed all week. They're really here to play and play well. And, they've taken their preparation seriously. They've been going to the sauna in the morning over at the Anatole Hotel, so that was a nice perk for them. So, I mean, they're very focused and want to play at a high level in this game.
Okay, now on the right side.
Yeah, Tim May, Letterman Row. For Ryan Day, who's playing in this game, who's not playing in this game, or who's not playing in this game?
Thank you for asking that question.
You're
I've been
welcome.
waiting on this one.
You're welcome, Coach. But
Yeah.
You said you'd tell us sooner or later. I mean, is Marvin Harrison Jr. playing in this game? Tommy Eichenberg, et cetera.
You usually ask like 3 or 4 questions, so
Well, let me add this last.
I'll wait for the second and third because we're not going to answer the first one.
Oh, okay. Really, you're not answering.
No. Like
Marvin
I said,
had been practicing, is what we've noticed. So.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like those are decisions that the players make, they and their families, and so I never want to be the one to go out and put it out there, and so I want to respect that, and I think our guys have been great and professional, and these guys want to win the game, so we'll know here in about 24 hours.
But Marvin, whether he plays or not, what is the legacy? What is he leaving at Ohio State?
Marvin's been a pro ever since he stepped in our building, and it started. Everyone wants to talk about his dad and everything like that, and what he's done, and being a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and he certainly did a great job raising his son with his mom. But Marvin's his own man, and he had big shoes to fill. He's got his father's name, but from the minute he stepped in our building, you knew that he was going to be a pro. The hours and hours and hours he spends on that jugs machine, the hours he spends in the film room, the way he takes care of his body, everything about it has been a pro. His professionalism. I mean, there's been times where after a game, I'll come over to the facility, and maybe it wasn't even a drop pass. He's in the facility after a game, hours, catching the ball, going over that same one again because it didn't get right in the game. And I think that legacy that he's leaving behind to the younger players is tremendous. And I think it's been said publicly, so I don't think I'm putting him out there. But when you ask him, what do you want to do in football? He says, I want to be the best receiver to ever play the game. Like, whoa. And your habits have to reflect that. They do. And that's what's special about Marvin.
Let's go on the far back on Coach's left for the next question.
Eli, Ben Arnett from KOMU TV in Columbia. You've extended both your coordinators in the last week. Can you give us a sense of the impact that both Kirby and Blake have made in their time, changes, attitude, just kind of the imprint they've had on your program and their various sides of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and I think there's been incredible vertical alignment within our coaching staff where both Kirby and Blake utilize their unique personalities to communicate the message of the head coach to their side of the ball. We have a sign in our staff meeting that says low ego, high output, and preference versus performance. And I think both of those guys reflect that immensely. Low ego, it's not about them, it's about what's best for our program and our team in order to win. They're not concerned about either side of the ball stats. They just want to work together to find the best way for our team to win. And, neither one of them has worried about preference. Both of them came in unique situations, tried to utilize the foundations that were already laid to best help our players get up to speed the fastest. And this day and age in college football, that's not usually what it is. Most coaches come in with big egos trying to prove who they are. These guys came in with, hey, I just want to help us win. And very appreciative to them and their families, and very appreciative to our administration for stepping up and helping us create a place that is where they want to be. And so, you know, we wouldn't have the season we have if it wasn't for Blake Baker and Kirby Moore and the way they've coached and related and communicated and connected to our football team.
Okay, you're on the second row, or first row.
Joe Nugent, NBC4 Columbus for Ryan. This will be the final game for Gene Smith as the athletic director. How much credit does he deserve for what Ohio State football is today?
Yeah, where do I start? I tried to get a collection together to see if we can go 4 more years, but he and Sheila have decided they're going to stay strong. I've said publicly before, what he's meant to so many people, the impact he's made on so many people. Ohio State has over 1,000 athletes year in and year out, 36 sports. It's a tremendous job, and he's done it with grace, success on and off the field. But the impact he's made on people is really what it's all. When it's all said and done, that's what this is all about. The reason you get into coaching, the reason you become an AD is to have an impact on people. He's done that. He's done that to me and my family. The opportunity he gave me as a first-time head coach and to believe in me and the support he's shown and his guidance over the years has been tremendous. I don't know all the ADs that have come before, but he's one of the best of all time.
Second row on our first row.
Frank Cusimano, KSTK in St. Louis. Coach, can you discuss, in addition to what he's done on the field, the overall impact of what Luther Burden has meant to your program?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to measure as of right now, but I will say, 2 years ago we were a 6-6 program that, for me, frankly, had a lot of talk but not a lot of results. And for Luther to choose to come to the University of Missouri when he had some other opportunities, and then for us, not only for our program to back it up, but for the state of Missouri to back it up through NIL and other opportunities to market Luther, I think it's created a place where other players know, hey, I can go there, create my own brand and value for myself at the University of Missouri. I don't have to go somewhere else outside of the state. Resulted this year with Williams Nwaneri, who was consensus #1 D lineman in the country. Well, I shouldn't say consensus. In one of the 6 rankings, he was #1 in the country. But to choose to play here, we've had other players in the portal choose to come back. And I don't think that would have happened had Luther not chosen to come here. And then I can't say enough about the maturity and growth that he's made as a player off the field. Last year he relied mostly on talent. Now he's relied on preparation. And when preparation and talent come together, you have an opportunity to be a special player. And that's really what's happened with him.
Okay, here on the front row, here on Coach's right.
Aaron Ladd, KSHB 41 out of Kansas City. Wanted to ask about your big three. You talked about Brady, you talked about Luther. Add Cody Schrader in there. Yeah. What impact did those 3 make on getting you to this point? What impact will they make on the game on Friday? And then specific to Luther and Brady, what impact do they make going forward?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to say, but those 3 together have had a tremendous impact on our team. And I think it's been because of the dedication that they've put in outside of just the games. Their work ethic, their preparation, their lifestyle outside of the game of football reflects on the field. Cody Schrader is one of the best stories in college football, a young man who bet on himself, walked on from a Division II school, started 8 on the depth chart and worked his way up to being a complete running back, a guy who I believe has an opportunity to play in the NFL. And means nothing more to him than to play for his teammates. And the connection that him, Brady, and Luther, and Theo, and Javon, and X, and Armand, and Cam, and Connor have is pretty special to watch. I think the coolest thing about all 3 is they really don't care who gets the credit. They just want to win. They just want to win football games. And there's been games where Cody's the man, and we celebrate it, and there's been games where Luther's the man, and it was celebrated. And I think at the end of the day, that's what's made our season so much fun, is there wasn't the drama. There was just, let's win, and let's find a way to win.
Let's go toward the back here on the outside aisle, right side.
Clint Schweitzer from Starcade Media. Coach Drinkwitz, this has been a very, the team has been so tight-knit all year, and to culminate here with an event like the Cotton Bowl versus the last 2 years, playing in bowl games that were before Christmas, spending the holidays together, what has that meant for kind of team chemistry and the camaraderie that's existed all season?
Yeah, I think it's just been a fun way to finish off the year with an opportunity to play in a New Year's Six bowl and spend some more time together, quality time, to have Christmas morning together as a team, something they'll always remember and be able to share. I think it was a great ending to a great season.
Okay, let's move back to the left side. I think the mic's on the third row, okay.
Tyler Danberg, Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Ryan, in what ways has the offensive line made strides this year, and what needs to improve tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think we found our identity in the run game probably about midway through the season. Certainly getting Trey back made a huge difference. That was a big part of it as well. And then it started to flow from there. This game's going to be just like any other game. It's going to be one up front, and so our guys have to play well. But I feel like, that last third of the year we started to pick it up in that area. We understood, what we were up front, what our backs could do. And so then I think we grew from there. Plus, you had, Josh Simmons, who came in the summer, hadn't played at a Power 5 school before, was learning the offense. We had a redshirt freshman at center, and then Josh Fryer was really a first-time starter at right tackle. So I think they gained more experience and got better as the season went on.
Next question comes from the left.
Ari Wasserman with The Athletic. This is for both coaches here. Eli, you mentioned earlier on in the press conference about all the stuff that you guys had going on in December. I was just wondering, if you were in charge, both of you, of the recruiting calendar, what would be the thing that you would change about the way things are going right now in that realm?
I mean, that is a loaded question. I don't know that there's any one thing that has to be changed. I think there has to be a collective group that gets together and decides that really we have to rearrange a lot of it. There's no other, we've talked about the 12-team playoff. There's no way possible for us to have a 12-team playoff next year and be recruiting in an open period and have transfer portal additions and subtraction going on and preparing for a game. It's just not possible. So there's going to have to be a reset of college football, looking back, okay, this is what we've become now. Right now we've got like a wheel with a bicycle wheel, and we've taken the middle part right out. And then we just decided, all right, we'll just see how it figures out. We got to start all over and build it back out again, and it's going to start with having to figure out the calendar. I don't have a simple answer for you. It's not as simple as, well, we'll just move signing day. That's got consequences. The reality of it is the decisions that have been made have not been thought through about what are the unintended consequences of just saying, all right, we'll have 2 transfer portals. Now you got players who are making decisions about leaving a university, life-changing decision before they've even finished their finals, which again is a big deal. We're here to, like Coach said, we're here to influence and impact people, and the number one way we can is for them to get an education. I firmly believe in our guys receiving NIL and receiving payments and making financial gains through playing the game of football. I think I've been adamant about that. But I also understand that getting a degree is going to be significantly more important for them in their future. I think not only for having that and being a positive contributor to society, but for a lot of these guys, they're going to be the first in their families to get a degree. And now they change the trajectory of their family tree forever, because now it's a standard for that person's family to go get a college degree. And so, again, unintended consequences of all the things adding up into 1 month, and it's just not possible for us to continue forward with this cycle.
Yeah, I agree with really everything Coach just mentioned. I think when big decisions like this need to be made, we struggle in college football because everyone's coming at it from a different point of view. I mentioned this before. Coach has got his issues. We have our issues. Different demographics, different size of school, Group of 5, Power 5. but we've got to figure out a way to make, first off, December work. December's not working. And, whether that means, coaches don't go on the road in the month of December, moving the signing date has got to be looked at, but it's not that easy, because I don't have a date, because I know what the issue is. You do it in the summer or you do it in June, and there's coaching changes. Now, all of a sudden, when would that date become available? So while I don't have good answers, we all need to come together and make some hard decisions. And like Coach said, I don't think we can just patch it up and say, let's put a patch on this right here. We got to look at this thing from a big picture and then start from scratch and go from there. And there's a lot that goes with that.
We'll stay on Coach's left, toward the middle.
Patrick Murphy with 24/7 Sports. Ryan, yesterday Cade was talking to us about he's going to play in the game, but he may not play the normal amount of snaps. When I know you're not going to go into detail on how guys will play, but balancing guys like that, upperclassmen that are maybe playing their last game versus getting young guys opportunities in a game like this, how does that work in your mind?
Well, we want to win the game. That's the number one thing. So we're going to go in and do everything we possibly can to win the game. And then go from there. But there are going to be some opportunities for guys to take on new roles in this game, different than has been this season. So excited for them, and we've seen that before. You think about the Rose Bowl a couple years ago where, Marv and Meck went into the game and, did a great job that freshman year, and it really built momentum into the offseason for them. So, both. I mean, I think, guys are going to play and we're going to win the game. That's the number one thing. But at the same time, opportunity for some younger guys to get in there and build some momentum for their future.
Now on the right, second row.
Joey Van Zumeren with Fan Nation. Eli, a few weeks ago you talked about how because you weren't calling the offensive plays this year, you're really able to focus more so on your relationship with players instead of just the X's and O's of the offense. Can you talk a little bit more about just your change in your coaching approach this season?
Yeah, it really began after the bowl game. Going back to the month of December, I wasn't doing the best that I could for our football team. We have a sign in our building that says, do your job, put the team first, right? Embrace your role, put the team first. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't embracing my role as the head coach. I was trying to hold on to my ego of being the play caller. And I needed to step back and say the job as a head coach is to build this team, empower other people to do their jobs, and really build connections amongst our players from player to player, coach to player, and from our university to, or from our team to our university and community. And it begins with investing in your guys, and I just didn't have the time that I needed to do that. And so that really became my mission. How could I support our strength and conditioning athletic performance? How could I be around our players more? How could I engage our coaches more in a real way? How could I engage our players more in a real way to create a more connected team? Football is a powerful game, and there's always elite teams, but it's really not about elite talent. It's about elite teams. Ryan alluded to it earlier, when NFL teams get on a run, it's teams that are connected. And I felt like, we needed to be more connected so that when that moment came and we broke through, we would be able to sustain it. And that kind of happened for us after the Kansas State game. It really just came down to me being more living my integrity, not just talking about it, but being about it and putting the team first, embracing my role as the head coach, and Kirby Moore came in and did a phenomenal job to coach the offense, call the offense, and couldn't have had it happen any better for us.
We're approaching the end of our news conference. Take maybe 2 or 3 more questions. I think the next one should come from the left on the outside aisle.
Nathan Baird from Cleveland.com. Ryan, how much does Devin's performance on Friday play into what this quarterback room is going to look like next spring, whether you're going to bring somebody else in potentially, or is that something that's decided more holistically, not just based on one game?
Well, I know that everybody in this game has got an opportunity to build some momentum for next year. And Devin's exactly in that situation. This is exactly what he wanted. He wanted this opportunity, and so he's taken it and run the last few weeks. And I think the guys on the team feel it. They feel his presence out there, and So this is what a great opportunity for him to do that. And we'll once the season's over, we'll kind of figure out where we're at with everything. But as of right now, I mean, he's our quarterback, and we're moving forward. And this is a great opportunity for him to go build more confidence with the guys around him as we head into next season.
Okay, let's come on this side. Maybe 2 questions, and we'll finish up with one on the left. So.
Daniel Stivitt, Fox 2 St. Louis. Coach Drinkwitz, I want to reflect a little bit on your the last question from this side. When you look back at your career, App State to Mizzou, kind of the trials and tribulations leading to this moment, how do you see yourself in this moment going up against a team like Ohio State to the point that you've gotten this program to?
Well, first off, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Day and the job that he's done. When they introduced him today, the reality that in every year that he's been a head coach, he's played in a New Year's Six Bowl or the college football playoff is about the most impressive thing I've heard in coaching. When you get to the top, the win's twice as strong. And so for him to be able to sustain excellence while people just assume that happens, it's incredibly hard to do. And so, they're a blue blood for a reason, but it's not just because they have just because they're the Buckeyes. It takes strong leadership, and Coach Day has set the tone for leadership, not only in the Big Ten, but around the college football world. And so for us to have the opportunity to match up against him, we know it's a tremendous challenge, but it's one that we're ready to embrace. We play in the SEC. We know what tremendous challenges are. The one thing when you watch their tape is you see a team that is very similar to the elite teams in the SEC. They're built in the trenches. They have dynamic playmakers on the outside. They're going to play man-to-man, in your face, check your breath defense, and you're going to have to make plays. And that's the way we designed our team with Theo, with Luther, with our quarterback that can create with his feet. So, it's going to be a tremendous matchup. We're going to have to do the things that we know to do, which are to play clean football before and after the snap. We're going to have to be great tacklers. Their running back is an elite player, and we're going to have to limit takeaways, and we got to take care of the football. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge, but we're excited for the opportunity. I mean, this is why you coach college football, to get an opportunity to play against teams like Ohio State.
Okay, 2 last questions here on the right, outside aisle.
Yeah, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch. You've both referenced the changes that have happened to college football, and more are coming, I'm sure. To look at it big picture, Chip Kelly was very vocal about what he thinks where the game should go, separating into larger divisions. Just curious what you think of his comments, where you see this sport going.
Man, I'm just trying to beat Ohio State. I just listed all the issues with going against their game plan. He lives on the beach, man. I mean, he's got time to look at the waves and figure out this stuff. I'm trying to figure out what my kids are getting for Christmas, and I had no idea. So I don't know where the game's going. I know it's the greatest game in the United States of America. College football is unbelievable, and it's an opportunity for young men to get to do something that they wouldn't get to do outside of the game of football. God's given them an incredible gift and talent to play the game at such an elite level, and I just don't want to see it disappear. And I do think that there's been such a grab for the financial part of it with the TV stuff, that we've lost a little bit of why we're doing it. And what's best for the student athlete. And I will say, I really felt like this in August, and I still feel like even Chip carried out the message. At some point, football's got to make decisions that impact just football. Okay, we're never going to be able to sit in a room as an NCAA and make decisions that are positive for football and other sports, Olympic sports or track and field and all that. We don't live in the same realm. And so at some point, we're going to have to make decisions that are just about football in order for us to have the success and sustainability that we want. For student athletes to have to play a soccer game all the way across the country on a Tuesday night and then come back and take a final the next day, that's really challenging. And that's a really tough, because at the end of the day, those are football decisions that are being made.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can probably talk about this for hours. Obviously, I know Chip very well, and he's very well thought out. He's always been a guy who thinks outside the box, and I think it's going to take a little bit of that thinking here. something that maybe we're not all used to, but something that's best for the student athletes. And it's going to take some creative thoughts, and then it's going to take a lot of hard work to actually execute it and then enforce it. And I think we all know that, but I think that's why we need to get some of these great minds in a room together and get this thing figured out.
There's a quote that says, ideas are everywhere, execution is everything. And that's what it's going to come down to. I mean, everybody can have ideas, but at some point we got to get in a room and execute the ideas to create the college football that we want moving forward.
Okay, our last question here on the inside aisle, left side.
Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle. For Coach Drinkwitz, what is it? Is it easier for you and your defensive staff to prepare for a quarterback who is throwing 300 or 600 passes, or 22 like you guys are facing this month?
You know, as soon as it was announced that Devin was going to be the starting quarterback, we pulled every one of his plays to watch it, and that was probably a big mistake because it shows the diversity of things that he can do. And then understanding Coach Day's past and Coach Hartline's past, you realize that there's such a variety of things that they'll be able to adapt and make this offense go with his skill set. So it'll be a challenge. We'll be reactive. You know, we'll have to react to see what his style of game plan is. I was hoping he would tell us today, but y'all didn't ask any of those questions. So we'll figure it out. You know, I think the one thing about Blake and his style of defense is, you know, we have the ability to create width with our defense and our odd front. We have the ability to get into heavy personnel if they go heavy and try to establish the run. So we'll just have to figure out what style of game it becomes and then react to it. But, you know, like Coach said, their quarterback's very talented. He throws the ball very well, runs it very well, and you can tell that he's very good as far as leadership. I was hoping that he would give me a speaker too, but I didn't see that in my locker. So, I mean, I thought that was extended courtesy. You know,
no speakers for you.
Okay.